Hey everybody, this is Perch. Boom Studios did this Brzrkr comic by Keanu Reeves, and they put it out on Kickstarter. And it made a lot of money, made tons and tons and tons of money. And it drew the ire of a lot of people in comics. And not a lot, I take that back. A vocal minority, basically people who had Kickstarters or Indiegogo projects, but mainly Kickstarter. This irritated the Kickstarter crowd. By the way, I still absolutely hate that there's a ideological line divide between Indiegogo and Kickstarter. These are two companies. It's absurd. It's a little bit like saying, "Hey, they're trying to assign politics to Target versus Walmart," which I'm sure somebody has done. It's this is stupid. It's ludicrous stupid to do this. These are two platforms, and they have the right to put product out. And if you don't like a product, you take it up with the product. You don't tar Indiegogo because you don't like one of the comics that's published there because somebody, Kickstarter has more of a get. It's just dumb. This is dumb. Anyway, these projects have been going out and they've been making lots of money. And then there's this perception of, hey, you're abusing the platform. Meaning, if you have the money to publish this thing, if you're Boom, for example, and you're publishing Brzrkr, you have the money to do this without crowdfunding. You don't need to go raise money in order to publish this comic. And I did a video about this a while back. I fundamentally disagree with that logic, mainly because it's basically saying that Kickstarter, Indiegogo are fundraising platforms, and they do that. That is true, but that is not their sole purpose. And I think anybody who fails to understand that is failing to understand the value of the platform. The value of the platform is it's another marketing channel. It's another method to connect with a potential buying audience. It's not just about raising money. It's also about raising awareness. It's about generating a sense of user attention. There's a lot of pieces to it, but if you write it off as this is like GoFundMe, it's for raising money, then I think you've got it all wrong. And even if that was its sole purpose, which it clearly is not, at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want. I mean, if Microsoft decided to put out a GoFundMe for their billionaires, like, hey, I'm a billionaire and I would like more money than I have. So this is a GoFundMe. I am a billionaire and I would like for you to give me more money because I'm a billionaire and I think I deserve more money. So please give me more money. That's between the person asking for money and the idiot who's giving the money to the billionaire. I mean, if you want to give your money to those people, be my guest. It's your wallet. It's your cash. I mean, this is my constant stance. If what doesn't my grandfather used to say? A fool and his money are soon parted. I think yeah, sure. Well, a lot of these old sayings that don't really apply anymore. I remember another one that's definitely probably not popular in today's climate of the best way to help the poor is not to be one. I remember my grandfather telling me this. I'm like 5 or 6, and I'm like, holy crap, grandfather's gotten hardcore. Anyway, obviously the world is more complex than all these things, but it was good little wisdom for kids. I'll say, man, I'm sure I've pissed a bunch of people off with that. Anyway, blame my grandfather. He's dead though, so bad news. You can't go cancel him. Life has done that. This went dark all of a sudden. Anyway, but basically, these companies have done Kickstarters. They've done it for profit. They've raised lots and lots of money, and there's some ire that has been raised by comic creators who say that this activity is drawing money away from their own projects. That they basically are making less money because more popular, bigger things that do not need to crowdfund are stealing their attention. They're basically, they're getting the attention instead. And it's hard not to see this and not think that people are just being petty and bitter. You see this and it's like, all right, it feels like you're just jealous because more popular things than what you are producing are making more money. Unfortunately, that's what it is. So do we need some kind of social engineering? Do we need some kind of company engineering that says, well, if you're wealthy or if you're popular, then you don't get to use these platforms. These platforms are only get to be used by the people who are kind of, they have less popular things. They're less well known, or maybe the quality is crappy. I just it I'd love to have an in-person conversation with somebody where they really get to lay out their case for why it's unfair for Boom Studios to throw out Brzrkr or Scott Snyder to put Nocturna out, and they should be barred from doing that somehow because they're popular people or they're big names and everything else. It feels like jealousy. I'm sorry, that's how it comes across. Maybe that's not what you intend, but that's how you sound. Most recently, Joe Glass is complaining that his projects are making less money now because more popular things are out there, and it's like, well, yeah, there's more popular things out there. I mean, that I don't know what to tell you. Something is more popular than your project, it will get more attention and thus more money, and that is the way the world works. It's that's a shame, but I don't believe that this is a problem that needs solving, because there's people now calling for Kickstarter should basically create a barrier for people that if your project is too popular, or you got the money from somewhere else or whatever else, then you don't get to take part in a platform. It's only for a certain group of people that are not popular, I guess. And then what happens if you do well? Like if you are, I don't know, we'll use the Indiegogo example. If you're Richard Meyer and you do Jawbreakers and nobody had heard about you and you had nowhere else to go and you raise money for it, okay, you get your project out there. And now let's say that for your second project, because your campaign was successful and you got a lot of money for it, you got a lot of backers. Do you now it's like, okay, well, you don't get to do it again. You were too successful with your first one, so now you have to go do something else. Is that what people want? If you have a company that has a certain profit margin, are you not allowed to use a platform? I mean, this is where it gets absurd. People, at the end of the day, people are going to, it's up to them. They can spend their money where they want. If Marvel Comics want to start using Kickstarter to crowdfund certain projects of theirs, I mean, why should they be stopped from doing that? Is it an abuse of the platform? I don't think abuse is the right word. Is it kind of stupid for Marvel to do this when they already have all the infrastructure in place? Yes-ish. But if they believe that this is a way that they can connect with customers that they don't currently have, if they believe this is a way to generate interest and excitement in a project, I mean, why shouldn't they get to use it? Sure, they should get to use it. I don't think, barring or banning people because they're too successful, I don't think that helps comics. I also think there's a fallacy in the argument that says, hey, if you could just get the more popular, better projects off the platform, then my crappier project would make more money. I think that's a leap in judgment. That is not necessarily true. I think that, most likely the person who's not spending the money on your less popular project is going to continue to not spend money on your less popular project. I don't think there's people who show up at Kickstarter with like, well, I've got $20 to spend, and I don't know, I guess I'll have to go for these super popular projects, even though this book by Joe Glass looks super interesting. I can't fund it. I can't fund it because I've spent all my money on this more popular thing over here. That's not how it works. That's not how consumerism works. That's not how, you can talk to any retail shop owner. They will tell you that's not how it works. People come in with money. They pick the products they want. They certainly can run out of money and not be able to afford anything. But generally speaking, if there's something they're very excited about, they will go get money and come back, and then they'll buy it. They don't just, some people don't come in with $20 and be like, I have to spend the $20, so therefore I'm just going to work my way down the list, and if there's nothing that I really like here, I'm going to go ahead and spend this $20 on something that looks kind of crappy, but I've got to spend this $20. That's not how it works. That's not how people think. So I think this whole thing is a bit of a silly thing, and I hope Kickstarter or Indiegogo do not start putting weird barriers in place. That's the fastest way to kill whatever momentum that platform has. I mean, crowdfunding in general has long-term problems. I know some people don't like to hear it, but it's true. Crowdfunding in general does have, issues. Um, it's going to be hard for it to maintain its pace. The thing that would sabotage it faster than anything is if you start putting in weird rules around, popular content gets less. That's a very, very rapid way to make less overall. Anyway, that's my opinion. Maybe I've completely got it wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I'm interested in a legitimate argument on this. The idea of like, oh, my project's not making much money, it must be somebody else's fault. It's like, maybe your project sucks. I'm just saying. Just saying. Maybe you're not popular enough. There's a lot of really cool musicians out there that come up with really amazing music, and they do not sell at the same level as Miley Cyrus. And that sucks because Miley Cyrus sucks, but she's more well known. So that's just the way it works. I'm going through a tunnel right now. I imagine the audio is probably super crappy. It's this is a flaw of recording this way. Anyway, thanks for listening, and thanks for listening.